I'm Lena, and this is my training story as a multi-athlete, which led me to train intuitively. I've been doing sports quite intensely all my life, long before I started surfing. But it was around 2020 that I started training with weights. Right since I started surfing, I liked more powerful waves. But with time, I started feeling that the power of the waves was getting too heavy on my body. And at the time, I was fit, but I was also quite skinny. And so I started strength training to protect my body from the forces of the waves. And at the same time, I started apnea training to prepare myself physically and also mentally for hold downs. So over the next 2 years, I intensified that training and trained consistently. And I even did an intensive 3 months of personal training where I learned so much. I drank protein shakes daily and ended up gaining around 8 kilograms of mainly muscle mass. So in 2022, I was the strongest and heaviest I had ever been. Then in 2023, besides surfing, I also got serious about freediving. And this became a whole other purpose in itself. But over the course of that year, something else happened as well. I started feeling exhausted more often and more intensely. I got COVID twice, and some effects lingered for several months. So even when I had finally fully recovered, I felt that something had to change. I had sore muscles all the time, and I was exhausted a lot. What I love doing is activities, surfing, freediving, hiking. And many days I do them intensely and they need recovery time. They also require preparation and caring for equipment. And then there are other life responsibilities too, of course. So there was simply no space for being exhausted all the time after the gym. And I recall more than a few surf sessions where I felt exhausted from the gym in the water or ended up not going at all. It was stupid, really. At this point, I felt that the training I was doing outside of my sport was limiting me and not helping. It didn't fit with my life and I didn't enjoy it anymore. It was frustrating and I felt like I was not treating my body well. This idea slowly crept up on me that maybe being so strong and heavy was not really in my nature actually. And so I did a hard stop. I quit the gym, I quit home workouts, I quit any plan or routine for strength training. I just stopped it all. And instead, I allowed myself to do whatever is fun and whatever my body is calling for, which was mainly exploring nature and collecting experiences. Surfing by myself, freediving in caves, riding a motorbike through a forest trail. I had some of the most incredible experiences that year, and I just felt really good, healthy, vital, more like myself again. And I also happened to lose half of the added weight again. So fast forward to summer this year, 2024. I went for an intense 2 months of depth training for freediving in Turkey with 40 degrees of heat every single day. It was an incredibly rich experience for improving my diving, but I had also never felt so exhausted in my life. So it forced me to take rest and recovery seriously for the first time in my life, to be honest. So for weeks, it was professional freedive training or the couch. No surfing, no apnea training, little exploring, some stretching, but only when I felt like it. It was all that my body was able to handle. And it was a bizarre, solitary, and at the same time intense time, which also allowed me to reflect about how can I juggle freediving, surfing, moving forward, because I was progressing in both sports and it felt like the split was getting more and more difficult to manage. And I felt like I required a training routine that truly works for me without overexhausting me all the time. And it had to be a routine that prioritizes experiences and fun and adventure. One that maybe isn't so much of a routine at all, but just 5 guidelines that work for me personally. First, sometimes rest is the most productive thing you can do. Trusting that when I don't feel like training, it's because my body shouldn't be training. And I think that's especially true as a woman with a menstrual cycle. Second, not everything needs a strict training plan. Not everything needs progress. It's okay to just move in a way that you feel like that day. Training is not a goal in itself for me. I'm training to support my passions, to complement them, and to have fun while doing it. So moving functionally works for me. Complex moves, combined sets of exercises, learning new skills and new ranges of motion. Third, I like medium intensity trainings. Not too long, not too heavy, not too often, but consistently. Fourth, I like training alone. I exchange with trainers or other professionals once in a while. I get inspiration and tips from others, but for the rest, this time is for me alone. And last, 5, I like to tune into my intuition. It's hard with all the noise out there, especially online. But I think if we can cancel that out and tune more into ourselves, we know if we're feeling good, if we can move well, if our body is asking for rest or activity.
Okay, that's it.